Aha!
Hello, I'm going to title this video All the Gear, No Idea, because we're about to put some paint down. So I've got a few of my dangly things hanging up on the wall. I've got a shell on its side, I've got a bit of a sample piece, I've got odd things hanging up everywhere, probably getting in the way, knocking stuff over. Let me show you what I've got as in here. All the gear, no idea. So I've got a cheap spray gun. It's got a 1.8 nozzle on the end, which might be a bit too big. This nozzle on this, on the end there, is basically the diameter of the hole in the end. So the bigger the number, the bigger the hole, and the bigger the hole, the more paint comes out. That's the idea anyway. It's on that stand. There's a filter thing there which will take any of my eyebrows out as it goes into the pot. There's a lid. I've got another cheap gun off eBay. I say cheap, but it's a better branded gun which I'm going to use for top coats and things, and that one's got a 1.4 smaller nozzle in the end. We can only try. So yeah, I've got some paint which really needs mixing. I've got some hardener in that one, which is basically like Bostik. That's the glue bit, looking at it and smelling it. And I've got some thinners. And I've got a couple of spare tins. I've got some gloves. And I've got a pot, because the ratio I'm going for on advice is 4 parts paint, which is that bottom black line, 1 part hardener and 1 part thinner. So 25% hardener, 25% thinner, 4-1-1. So I hope that's right. So we can start mixing all that up in a minute. Pour it through there into that gun and then give it a go. So like I say, I'm running a 1.8 nozzle on the end. I've got a pressure gauge attached close to the gun, and when the trigger is pressed and the air is rushing through, I'm looking for about 30 psi on there, which may be too much, it might be too little, but we can only give it a go. So I've got my suit on, which I recommend because of 2 reasons. One is all the fluff dropping off your clothes and going everywhere, and the other one is with the paint hanging in the air, it tends to leave sticky residue over everything, and I don't really want sticky residue all over my clothes. So I'm going to mix some paint and then I'll come back. Hello, I've got the paint in the gun. All we can do is spray. head's fucked. Hi everybody. Well, the epoxy's gone on. Filming it was quite difficult. I can't seem to film and paint at the same time. The camera got in the way. I ended up painting the tripod. Luckily I didn't paint the camera, so I'm going to have to think of another way around of doing that, maybe some kind of body cam or something like that, try and strap it on. So yeah, I'll try and show you how the epoxy's looking at the moment, but apart from a few runs which was caused by me walking away for half an hour and doing another job. I had to go and pick somebody up. I came back and just carried on with the gun, and it had got a bit bunged up on the end. So apart from that, it's okay, but it's only the primer, so I'm not that worried. But slight change of attack with the roof. If you followed this series of films, you'll know that this roof was, the steel roof was pretty knackered. The reason it was pretty knackered was because there was a sunroof hole cut in it. I couldn't really afford to buy a new roof panel, so I did the cutting a piece of steel, joggling it and welding it in while still trying to create the dome of the roof, and it went okay. But I've always at the back of my mind been thinking about the amount of filler work I've got to do to try and get that roof to become presentable. But I was willing to do it, but I came across this fiberglass roof skin the other day. Now I got it pretty cheap, because I know these can be quite expensive. I think this was off a grass track mini, and there's all holes around the outside where it looks like it's been screwed on into the original roof skin. They've probably cut it out to save weight, and looks like they've used wood screws to screw it in. But I think it might be salvageable. Apart from a couple of little bits and bobs everywhere, I think I can save it. So my intention is, I've just put this on here with the straps at the moment just to check the fitment of it, but I think I'm going to go for it. I think I'm going to leave myself about a 4-inch piece of metal around the perimeter of the original roof, and then I've got some Sikaflex, I think it's yacht adhesive. I think they use it on boats and things for sticking fiberglass and joining panels together and all that. So I'm going to run some of that flex glue around the 4-inch perimeter, and then get this skin stuck down, and hopefully I can then do a relatively decent merger of the fiberglass down into the drainage channel. Obviously there's a thickness to the fiberglass skin, and that will partially narrow down the drainage channel a little bit, but I think it's going to be worth it. So it's going to be worth it from a couple of points. It'll save weight, it'll save me a hell of a lot of time trying to save the original roof skin. I'm not too worried about the structural integrity of the shell too much, because I'm fitting that roll cage inside. These fiberglass roofs are quite flexible. You know, they're not like I mean the steel one is flexible a bit, but this fiberglass is more flexible. But I might be able to just reduce that a little bit by having something stuck to the inside, a bit of sound deadening, or a bit of foam or something like that, just to tie it together. But even if it is flexible, it doesn't matter. It rebounds back to its original shape. It's got a memory to it. So yeah, let's do it. Let's going to have a big engine. It's going to be lightweightish. I'm not going to be filling it up like a normal road car. So yeah, bit of a novelty. So if you want to see how that works, stick with us. I'll get the grinder out and we'll start cutting metal. Not really the ideal time, but at least we're doing it now and not later. So yeah, let's get this green skin off and get the grinder out.